Unable to unhost. Try again soon. Extremely promising there, Twitch. Also, they apparently did a change somewhere along the lines that made it so people viewing their own stream don't count as viewers. Oops, that's not the right screen. I should really get back in the habit of using the shortcut keys. I fuck it up a lot less. Now, last time... Oh, I probably want to switch this to the party we want for just general purpose killing and stuff. Tremmy actually might be a just as valid inclusion for replacing the Shining Gundam. She does fairly comparable damage most of the time. And her quick lance, speed lance, speed lancer, whatever the hell it is the thing that is going to be used to kill kamikaze ravens. Should we come across them? Hopefully we will. I don't know if there's another occurrence of them. Is the reason I bring this up. Oh, neat. Twitch is still having the... I'm just streaming. I don't have a game listed. I don't... Oh, I forgot to change the name. Ah, I'm dumb as hell. Hold up a sec. Forgot to change the name. Ah. Actually, that name's a lie. Oh no, I thought I said done rapidly. The title since, I mean, I figure most people are not going to be watching this, but if you're watching this on YouTube, the title that I changed it to was MS Saga Named Rapidly, because I forgot to change the name. And this continues the trend of MS Saga music being real good. And these battles are nothing, really, unfortunately. This one might be something. The Devil Gundam. I have no idea how much health this guy has. I mean, it is a red encounter, so there is the distinct possibility that it has enough health that this isn't going to really do much. But I'm not real sure I give a shit. I kind of just expect it to have, like, you know, maybe 1,500. Apparently I'm wrong. Oh yeah, we don't have anybody set up with the pair of charges anymore, because we have Resner in here. And our options are basically have either Bazuli or Vargas, because 5 members are set, and that kind of sucks. Actually, I should have swapped out the other one, but... Okay, so that still wasn't that bad. And everybody's levels are kind of evening out. And I have no idea which way I want to actually go here. Oh, it looks like that might only be 2 ways for us to go. There was this, and you may not have seen it. There was a, if you were just looking at the screen, but there was a door to the north as well. And like I said, these things only have 1 hit point. So there's no reason not to just have these set up for their shot burst. So this is one of the potential issues if you only have 1 person set up for getting a speed attack off on the Kamikaze Ravens. Fuck! Okay. Weird. Yeah, if we run into more of those, it doesn't really matter unless we can actually get that hit off. No. So of course we run into a save point. It's not a huge deal, as you can see I have a lot of those. Most of which came from the grinding session. But the remove from party, only one is Bazuli, so it's... Our options are either have Bazuli in the party, or have Vargas in the party. Neither one of which I'm exactly happy about. I'm gonna check out and see if there's anything... Oh, okay. I was just expecting there to be little prizes of some kind. Oh yeah, that's one of the issues of Tremmy. Well, that's a solid enough, have Tristan in the main party. He doesn't go before everybody else. And of course, especially if we're fighting the Kamikaze Ravens, we really do not want to have both in the party. So. Small beam rifle. Wonder... Okay, kinda sucks. Because the point of comparison here is this or, this. So. I am not sure where we want to go here. Oh, well, that answers that one. And I'm trying to get to the southwest side so I can see if there is even anything there. How convenient. The command that Tristan set up for is switch already. Excellent. That's definitely the preferred way to take them out. It's just seems like it has low hit percent. Okay, so there doesn't appear to be anything. That ramp looked really weird to me. I figure the way forward will be, actual way forward will be one of two things. Oh. Death Knight, huh? Okay. Tremmy's speed makes it actually a little bit difficult to gauge how things like that would have panned out. Because she would have been first and she would have likely taken damage from the Death Knight. Which, as seen, is just unnecessary damage. It does seem like every time I switch Tremmy out, we immediately need to switch her back in, though. That is just an absurd amount of damage. I'm pretty sure techniques like that can't miss, but they'd only need to miss once. Well, actually, I suppose they'd need to miss twice. The funny thing is, if it's actually any other enemy, they don't do damage. So, Kamikaze Ravens are actually the only regular fight that can do damage. And it just straight up kills anybody it hits. Well, this has a possibility of doing damage. I think I'd have said probability if the enemies were guarding instead of charging. But, I mean, everything here seems to have less health than I am anticipating. I think part of that is the difficulty that we had with Mount Trial meant that I kind of went into overkill mode. Even though that's an optional area for right now. I think it always stays optional. But of course, if we had the heavy arms, we would be with a considerably stronger suit. One likely Fritz, possibly Bazuli. I don't remember offhand which one of the suits is slightly worse. But I'm not really paying attention to any of these encounters right now, so. Also, if the Kamikaze Raven came with anything else in the party, it would be extremely dangerous. Oh. Oh. Huh. I thought this door was on the first floor because of the way the map looked. Interesting. Oh. Well, that tells me which way we need to go. Guess I'll just end up, running into all of the doors to check and make sure they're not locked. And then it feels like I'll likely end up going the whichever way isn't locked. Okay, so I see some boxes down there, so we'll... I've not paid too much attention to the room shape, but I think there's a ramp in here. Just like there was on the in the other room. But it may mean we need to go around. Not a huge concern one way or the other, but... Since aside from the Ravens, we're not worried. The Ravens do suck, though, because they don't seem to give that much more experience for how much more dangerous they are. I don't remember what barrier means. Well, it doesn't mean immune to guns, so I guess I don't really have to give a shit what it means. It might mean immune to melee. But that really doesn't matter when it's dead. And there is a ramp at the end here. Oh, there's, well, let's check the door. This is an actual door. I'm only checking these because we're right next to them. The two are actual doors. After I grab the chest I saw, we will try out the other door we're seeing. Beam launcher. That name is really weird. I'm just curious about the shape, really. Okay. Well, if it was the other way, I could fit it on the Marasai, but as is, nobody has a spot for it. I am extremely glad I am set up for 2-shot bursts, because I think last time I played through this I was set up for a shoot all and a shot burst, and it was not enough to consistently take everything down. And what are we going to run into here? Thank you. Don't. There might be an enemy or two surviving this barrage of bursts. Never mind. Oh, that makes sense. They were only Zaku's. Oh, this is, we saw this before. Beam lane. 12 to 10. Yeah, that's actually, again, not worth it because we have better. Might be worth it on the... Nope. Oh, that's the wrong weapon anyway. Still no. Yeah, that's just a shorter version of the... Shorter and slightly better version of the impact lance. That wasn't really worth it, but I'd have basically needed to do that to check out what the hell they were anyway. What was in the box anyway. And I've been getting pretty lucky with room navigation here. Also with getting a fair amount of additional rod type beam rifles. Given that we have more melee people now, and there's another one, I think. There's another one? You know, I can't remember. I was thinking there was another one, but I might just be misremembering. And I might be misremembering because of the fact that Li Fang is currently not in the party. Because if there is another melee person we have yet to grab, I sure as shit cannot remember their name. Have to double check the map every time to make sure that I'm not running into where the blue little dot is. Oh. This would be a lot scarier if these enemies didn't suck. Apparently counterzone only applies the effect of defend if you use a melee attack. Interesting. Yeah, I could have switched Tremi and possibly had her do a bit more damage. I wasn't really concerned about it. No, maybe I should have been. Okay, so where does this go? I have my doubts that the door at the end there is a real door. Well, it's a real door. I have my doubts that I can open it. Where is that? Due to where we were on the map, I could not see where the ramp for the other side was. Right. Where's that? The weapons are close in damage, but we are at the point where minor increases do fairly large changes in how much damage we're doing, so I suspect that's armor related. There's a door there I should probably check. I kind of suspect that the north door is the actual way forward, but it might also just be locked still. I don't think the Giga Tank is going to survive, but the Barrier Marasai will probably get hit by a boost attack, or whatever the hell boost I'm using with Crispin. Oh, never mind. So, like I said, I suspect this is the... Oh no, that's just back to the... Yeah, actually I'm pretty sure that's the way forward. I could be wrong. Super easily. But... Okay, yeah, and this... also looks like it's just... Well, maybe... Once we hit this up, we can hit the save point and come back. On the other hand, nothing in here is really that dangerous. Sorry for that loud click noise. Yeah, it'll take 2 seconds. Any fights we run into are just extra experience. And most of the group is close enough to a level that it might be worth it anyway. Based off what that said, I suspect we will get to just go back the way we came from. We might not, but okay, yeah. Because I think the post-game dungeon does a lot of crap like that, where you unlock it, but it's you only unlock it for one way, which sucks. Then again, the post game for this game just straight up sucks. Really, towards the end of the game, this game kind of goes to crap. We're not there yet, but Mount Trial was a kind of hint as to what this game kind of eventually becomes, just across the board. And I know it's because when streams start up, they're not actually in low latency mode regardless of what... And, yeah, I mean, I'm not even an affiliate, so... Okay, so... I was thinking south was the way to go, but I'm actually not sure anymore. Oh. Oh, I never went south out of that. Well, I did go south to see the door, but I didn't. It wasn't until I was in that room again that I realized, no, we tried the south door and it was just locked. For once, the checking every door actually hurt me. Because I was thinking that we had already checked the south exit meaningfully, beyond just it being an open door. I actually really like the way that I think it's the Zeta booster looks on the back of the Shining Gundam. And I think we could actually get a third one set up for an attack all, but that would actually require 7, because Tremmy's is 7 energy. But I think all that would require is maybe switching the Bawoo legs and the setup that the Bawoo has over. Excellent. But we might end up eventually having that as Tremmy's setup, just because I think it's Sonic Storm. Yeah, Sonic Storm is just essentially the melee version of Shot Burst. I was thinking Resner had the same thing, but I guess she just has most of the lance attacks. Or spear attacks, same diff. Okay. So it looks like we can't go to the... Oh, well, wait, we can actually just come across and unlock that door. Or we should be able to. I don't know for certain. And oddly, we cannot stay in the room after unlocking the door, so if it was just a one-way unlock, it would be a pain in the ass to get back. I'm going to make an assumption here that the south sides are connected. mean, it doesn't really make it that much of a difference whether Tremi survives or not, but it's interesting that she can actually survive a standard ass hit from the Kamikaze Raven. I was pretty sure that that was just gonna be death. Hmm. Well, okay, that's not even an issue. Sorry about that. Dog wanted attention, and I did not have a hand free to play the game. So I don't know why the music in here is as quiet as it is. So I'm going to check out the right side of this room first. Oh, this could be real bad. On the other hand, I mean, it's one damage that we need to do, and he's not going to defend. So, because of these fights, Fritz is gradually getting behind, but it's 750 experience a pop. Also, having those gun tank models defend but not do anything is kind of amusing looking to me. I hadn't noticed it that much until, 3 of them did it. But part of that's I've not been paying that much attention to a lot of the random encounters. I have no idea what the Masala is, stat-wise. It might get hit by a melee attack. Though with how many enemies are in this encounter, I kinda doubt it. Yeah. Maybe if that shot burst hadn't crit. Excellent. So now we are all level 29. Zaku 3 data. I'm pretty sure I've been selling Zaku 3 data. The Zaku 3 data, or not data, the Zaku 3 is in kind of an odd spot. It is the best suit we are going to have that, well, I shouldn't say going to have. It is the best suit we could have that has 3 energy default. I believe it's also right at about the level of Yakushiki, I think. Might be a little bit better. But that's a suit that we're not really using. It's worse than the Zeta, it's worse than the Bawu, it's worse than everything we're actually using, so there's no reason to make one. I mean, the other things that we are going to have access to very soon, the Arjarja and the Dryzen, are both melee suits that are better than Shining Gundam, at least torso-wise. And they have a fair bit more health. They're closer to Sandrock, but still behind Sandrock. Sandrock's main purpose, I believe, is actually just being a tank, which is, in this game, not that bad of a purpose. It's effective, if nothing else. But, yeah, long term, that's kind of the utility of the Sandrock, is just it has a whole bunch of health. And it's a fairly balanced suit. Its arms are very balanced. So it, nothing else, the arms and possibly legs, also very probably armor, would be in use long past the actual torso, just because it has terrible base stats. We have had a lot of very easy Death Army encounters here. And since I'm just not sure what's at the end of this ramp, it feels like a lot of the encounters that are, as we're seeing as set encounters, are also things we're running into as just normal ass encounters. Or close enough. And given that the only things that we've run into that can potentially survive a round are the Kamikaze Ravens due to evasion, and the Zarth Guards just due to a whole bunch of health. Not really any danger there. Oh, there is stuff. Oh, it looks like that's another locked box. I'm pretty sure we never come back here, but I am slightly worried about the number of hacking tools we have. Because I know at the end there is I think it's the Arjarja data in a locked box. Might be Dresden data. My memory's trash on this. I think it's the one that's actually worth getting, that's stuck in the box, and we get the other one for free. Where are... Okay, we have 2. I think there's only 2 more here. Titan Shield. Why am I expecting this to be awful? Yeah. Extremely heavy. And let's... It doesn't even look that good. If we weren't going to have access to hacking tools fairly soon, I think it's one more dungeon away, I would have used a save state there. Also, I don't think we have access to this particular dungeon again. But we might. I don't... My memory of late game is real bad. Because I haven't gotten there in a long time. Oddly, when I'm doing, games for stream, I actually tend to finish them. At a much better rate than normal, anyway. So where the hell are we going once we get into the next room? South. Also, I think one of the reasons that I have a bit more trouble getting the little directional thing consistent is because the throw of the analog stick on the Wii U Pro controller is a lot shorter than the throw of the same left analog stick on the DualShock. Oh, Zarthgard 2. It only took me 5 tries to pronounce that. Okay, charges, so I believe that means they are dead. Zarthgard next to Dark Hubli. Zarth next to Dark is so mean. So mean. Okay. Now let's swap you out for Crummy. Get her boost going. Just because it is continually charging, I am going to have our ranged units shoot the Cubely. Yeah, it was pretty close to death anyway. That beam rifle being able to do physical damage is extremely good. Also, man, the Zarth guards have a lot of health. Actually, I guess that would be pilot damage. So, that Zarthgard 2 is by far the strongest enemy. Well, actually, that's not even true. I think a battle with 2 Kamikaze Ravens would be more difficult than that one was. I have no idea when we're coming across a save point again, so... Let's look around for chests. Well, okay, we can't actually explore that much of the room. Might be one behind this encounter that I can only sort of see. Also, Fritz's gradual ranged attack increase is most of the reason why the Zeta has gotten stronger. Also, that is kind of absurd that we had both shot bursts had a part of their attack miss. And I think we're actually getting to the point where we have too many rod-type beam rifles. EN Max, which is an item I basically just don't use, and a beam pistol. What? I think that's actually too weak to really be usable. It's also larger than a lot of the early beam rifles we saw. It's quite a bit stronger. Don't get me wrong. It's just amusing to me that it is... The beam pistol is that large. Given that almost all of the early beam rifles that we ran across were just... Although I suppose a lot of those were supposed to be like machine guns. And would have essentially been more like submachine guns in actuality. And who knows, maybe the beam pistol has a stock on it. doesn't show the actual model until you use it. And I mean, I'd say that something like, I wish there was something like this, but, maybe more action RPG oriented. But that would 100% be Japan only. I mean, most of the various Gundam action games as time has gone on that weren't, Encounters in Space and Journey to Jaburo were Japan only. I know some other parts of that series were released in English, but I can't remember the names. So. Given that I can't remember the name of the other series on PS2 that also had a lot of mech games, I would say that's just my brain being dumb as hell. I wasn't expecting that one to be so loud, or to hurt quite so much. I was stretching my thumb, and for some reason, I guess I was stretching it the wrong way, because it just popped. Okay, yeah, we actually are going towards the correct direction. And we can afford one miss out of the 2-shot burst. The Bazooly can afford a miss. Yeah, I don't know why sometimes we get misses. I was thinking that, the shot bursts were supposed to be essentially as accurate as the weapon you're using them with. And I was pretty sure we had good weapons. Had accurate weapons, I should say. A Dryzen. It's fast. I have no idea how much health it has. Also, I kind of hope it drops that axe. That thing looks sweet. It might suck, but it sure looks neat. Nope, dropped its arms, which we'll see how they are. They are worse than the Sandrock arms. Depending upon how things go, when I have the ability to make some suits again, It might be the case that I end up just making some more another Bawoo to take advantage of the fact that we have, or it has, plus energy legs. And is currently our best range suit, but the energy legs to have a callback to a meme are probably the best part. Nemo data. Oh, is the Shot Killer 2 a Nemo? Oh, wait a second. That was a well, I wasn't paying enough attention to say if that was a set encounter or not. I hope Shot Killer 2s aren't just normal ass encounters here. But the main reason that I hope that the Shot Killer 2s aren't normal encounters is just because they require a, well, all but require a switch. A key. What the hell is wrong with this kid? Now... I think I'm going to want to end up using the system hack, which is going to necessitate charging. Yeah, if it'll take more than a turn to get that off, so... I was thinking that, You know, a problem with this idea is I think the Gatling fires are going to go... Oh, no. I was thinking Aeon was going to go after. Now this isn't going to kill the Eltron. It'll be pretty close. That's annoying. Unfortunately, I don't know if she has if one of these really does more damage. Like, I'm pretty sure Kristen's strongest is the power charge. Or maybe Mega Slash? Oh no, it'd be the hyper charge, I'm pretty sure. But I think, regardless, it's going to be enough. I was expecting both of those to do more damage. I was expecting them to be pretty much comparable to how much we did with the Gatling fires. At least the Zeta's Gatling fire. I always forget that the maps can move you around. Well, can move around and you aren't necessarily showing all of themselves. And after this upcoming save point is a point of no return. I haven't yet grabbed the heavy arms data, but I'm not 100% certain that the... Well, it's not really a point of no return. It's a point where your party composition changes again. But there is thus, it's kind of a point of no return with regard to being able to complete stuff at your current party state. Oh, I was thinking that was the fight we were in. But after this save point, our party composition will change, and we will not have quite so many people locked into our party. Which has both positives and negatives. Also, I believe that we will then need to do the full circuit that we just did when we come back. Because I think after the boss fight, you get dropped off at that north door. But we want something that's in the boss room. Oh. Also, I don't want to enter the boss fight with that party composition. Because I don't want to lose an energy switching. Not when I'm going to be trying to start with. Hitting a system hack anyway. I was thinking we had access to a tiny bit of the room before the boss fight, but I apparently misremembered. So how can you tell it's black here? To me, that looks like standard-ass Zaku colors. Belt possibly accepted. I kind of wish they'd just, gone for the reference they're clearly alluding to. Oh, god damn it. Really, game? So I have a rough idea as to how much HP the Black Zaku has. And that amount is a really dumb amount. I'm not sure how strong the boost will be. I'm not sure what boost it's going to use. Okay. Now, one of the nice things about System Hack is I'm pretty sure it never misses. Or effectively never misses. Also, I think we're a few levels away from somebody, probably Tristan, getting full repair all. Okay. Oh, Bazuli does not have repair all. Yeah, let's switch that over to Tristan and he can do repair all. So we're like a little bit over 3,000 health into the Black Zaku. 5,000-ish health into the Black Zaku. Oh, nice. Missed on the counterattack. I believe that puts us about halfway through the HP. Which, of course, means that it's about to actually get real. Unfortunately, we do not have yeah, I think we want Aeon in, because I think we're going to need to do a system hack again. Just to make this kind of survivable. What? What? I don't know what that did. Oh, screw it. Let's do another system hack. Whoop. Damn it. Just in case the first one wore off. That charge did nothing. Man, that hurts. And Bazuli has a nice HP total. So I think that puts us at about 14,000 health damage done. And the pair of repair rolls should put us back to full health or full enough health. And it's a good thing I did that. And I think I'm just gonna do that again. And I believe this should be sufficient to kill him. I could have misdone my math, but I think it'll be survivable even if I did fuck that up. And, extremely appropriately, we did get Tristan to do the final blow. A large beam sword, and everybody's 30 or higher. Oh man, we got a better melee boost now. Well, Vladdy was apparently not the one behind it. Also, I love cutscenes that are not done in engine. On the upside, one of the things that the game does consistently do, and continues to do here.
Wait! Eon!
There's no consistency in pronunciation. I think there was no voice director. Is we still have the Hyakushiki. It's just nobody's piloting it. Now, this is one of the reasons we can't come back into the fort, I'm pretty sure. Is we are pushed out of here. And I don't know if we could see the Actually, we might be able to come back in and that might be necessary. I don't 100% remember. Nope. What I said before is how it pans out. So we have to go a long way around to get the R-Charge data. Not a huge deal. It's still just the same enemies. And that means that it's still, aside from the Raven, completely safe. Even if somebody dies, there's no real reason to use healing items. And actually, we might be coming up on enough E-caps to do another double booster, which is kind of ridiculous. I don't think we are... No, we are nowhere close. I just had thought it had come up a fair number of times, but I was apparently misremembering. Probably just remembering the times it had popped up, rather than having an accurate assessment of how many times it has popped up. Also, the RNG in this is a fair bit more set than the RNG was in Saga Frontier 2. It's a lot more difficult to manipulate the drops. Even with save states on... Well, I don't think PCSX2 has rewinds, so couldn't do it that easily anyway. Like with Saga Frontier 2, each time you hit X, it seemed to increment the value of the RNG, or it did something to the RNG. I don't really know. It could have just grabbed the next value in a essentially one-time lit pad. I was going to say list, but list isn't the proper term. In this, you need to not only have actions queued up, different set of actions queued up to get different results in the RNG, you need to actually have them go off. So you can change the drops by having somebody defend or things of that nature. But you're not going to change the results just by, tapping the button a different way. On the other hand, that does make it so you don't have to worry about how you're hitting the button, how frequently you are, etc. And I think me tapping the button the way I did was one of the things that resulted in a lot of the characters growing the way they did in my run of Saga Frontier 2. And I could have hit up the save point to grab somebody out of storage, old storage. I don't think it matters. I'm pretty sure that everybody gets experience the same way, regardless of where they are in the party. C'est la vie. Oh, and going back to a statement I made before, with the reason that the throw matters to how difficult or easy it is to get the little trick with rooms, is that with the actual DualShock, you can make much more minor adjustments and fine-tune where you are in that easier. That it's not that there's more degrees of sensitivity. I believe they are the same, essentially. It's that the longer throw makes it easier to more finely adjust it. But 99% of the time that doesn't matter anyway. But I will, when we hit up this save point, I will grab Li Fang out of cold storage. Just to double check. Vargas actually might be the smarter option, since he is supposed to be at the same level as everybody else. Well, both are 30, so it really does not matter. Let's grab Vargas just because he has counter snipe. And so, there is a chest somewhere here. That's the extent of what I remember. It might actually be in the next room. Or on the way to the next room, you know, once we're up that ramp. I can't be 100% certain. And in an odd bit of luck, possibly because we weren't screwing around and we're just headed towards where we needed to go, we didn't run into any kamikaze ravens, which was pretty nice. I also forgot to show... Ah, there we are. And I forgot to show off that the door becomes barred. Which I might be able to show off this way. Sorry about that. I don't know if it made any noise, but I did accidentally tap the microphone. And I felt it rather than heard it. But, yeah, I guess when you come back through it, unlocks And like I said, I'm pretty sure that that disables escape, yeah. And I'm not really concerned about the encounters, so. Probably would be if I was getting a little bit over level, but I'm not, so. I'm probably still a tiny bit underleveled, really. And that our Jarja will be, data will be used to make obviously an our Jarja. Surprise. And I believe we are about to get data for a couple other suits as well. Or at least have access to... No, because we won't have access to the stuff from Unicorn HQ yet. I believe that's after the next dungeon. The additional reward might also be after that next dungeon, too. Do not fully remember. But, like I was saying, yeah, we have sufficient E-caps that I'm not worried about it. And we can easily make a extra Bawu if it becomes necessary, or not even necessary. If I want an extra set of those legs. That will very likely not be this time, though. I think after we get out of here and get whatever the reward is, we're probably going to go over to the Mount Trial. Now, I believe, but don't 100% remember, because I didn't pay that much attention to the suit list, that the Zeta is the last of the actual balanced. I believe everything that comes after that is either pretty obviously melee focused or ranged focused. So now we just need to kill Peter Gabriel. Which I am sure no one will complain about. especially not Genesis. So this is another game that kinda is really bad at time progression. A week's not that much fucking time. I mean, most likely none of these governments have even started to meaningfully recover. And depending upon how important they were to the various areas, the areas could be, utterly unchanged from how we originally saw them, or they could still be shitholes. Which in some cases would be utterly unchanged from how we originally saw them. Also, I heard the gow and I thought I was breathing across the mic, despite the fact that I was inhaling at the time. A brief respite. Also, for a long time, I pronounced that incorrectly. Vargas getting Zuli into his ways. Also, I know part of it's because basically all the characters are at the same height, or all the characters are at a fairly similar height to the other characters who are supposed to be of the same age. But, yes, your waifu is not human. Marie, who, logically has to be late 30s or late 40s, or older. That's useful. Of course, acts more like a teenager than any of the teenagers Fritz possibly accepted. And even with Fritz, it's mostly talking rather than actually acting like, well, actually, yeah, both of them are pretty solid fits for the petulant child. So we have 2 sets of data. I think I will get those suits made, and then we can worry about anything else. So weird not having the full party here. Does that actually... Yeah. I wasn't really expecting that to, them to take our party. This game is oddly good at that shit. The little minor touches, it seems like the game is actually pretty consistent about doing that, but for once, I'm really glad that all of the plans basically end up being run in, shoot a whole bunch. And of course the map makes it is beneficial. And we could not accidentally have run into it before. Yeah, obviously we cannot switch out Fritz or Tremmy, but everybody else is swappable now. Now Resner actually has a few minor advantages over Li Fang, and I probably should have had Li Fang in the party so I could actually do a real comparison. But basically she is weapon-oriented, whereas Li Fang is fist-oriented. This isn't a big deal 90% of the time. And I'm not going to bother with the Dryzen basically well... Oh, I can just swap out. Let's go with Vargas. So Resner's a bit more balanced, a bit slower than Li Fang is. It's only the stats on the left that matter, just for the record here. She has a few, not a whole bunch, but a few actually good techniques, including that power up. And we can see that the only melee techniques for Li Fang are counter zone and double attack. Aside from that, I believe she needs to not be equipping a weapon in order to get those off. In order to have those actually work. Which sucks. We will probably need to eventually get her set up in a suit. I believe there are some claw-based arms or some shit like that. Which work for fist, but obviously give you a fair bit more power than a normal fist would provide. And I'm just going to have everybody set up to do their shot burst. And I should probably do invisible here just because I am going to... well, no. No, it really doesn't matter. It takes 2 seconds to do most of these fights. Yeah, basically the Dryzen has good health, has decent armor, not as good as the Arjarja, and pretty decent speed. But it just kind of sucks. Like, its main advantage is you have the data for it right now. Now, the Arjarja has some problems, but we would probably want to make one anyway. Just because of the fact that it has a really nice set of shoulder pads. They slow you way the hell down, but they provide a good amount of armor, and I think a decent amount of melee. I think they will be the highest melee shoulder armor we have. Probably be the highest range shoulder armor we have, because I think they're the only ones that do that either. It's just that that's not something you normally ever give a shit about. Wow, that's a lot of Death Army data. So, needless to say, we are going to sell all that. The double Zeta has the same melee capability, not capacity, as the regular Zeta. I always forget how dumb the Arjarja looks. That one might be getting colored. The double Zeta is the, I think it's 4th strongest ranged suit we will have access to. Now, the problem with not making the Ryzen is, is we would be using it immediately. It would probably go to Tremi, because it is more physically capable than the Sandrock. It would only be like 30 more attack. Yeah, I've fucked over various things for less attack gain than that. Once I sell off a whole bunch of shit, we should have the money for upgrades. And we can... I'm going to keep the Bawu data, but we can sell everything else. And as is obvious, since we didn't get a choice there... Oh. I was incorrect. Apparently we do have access to the fortress area. Now, with no one else left alive, you would think that they're... Actually, I should probably sell stuff first. You would think that her rank would be higher than Major, but apparently no. probably safely just take all this stuff off. Even from the bow. Just so we are not, we end up comparing apples to apples. Yeah, and we'll have suits to sell as well, and that will help provide additional funds. I have serious doubts that I am ever going to use that Titan shield. Yeah, we have 7 of the rod-type beam rifles. Although if we outfitted everybody with them, we would need 8, so... Not selling anything yet. I think this one is safe to sell. Yeah, even the large and powerful beam sword is worse than those large heat shuttles we got. Not especially surprising. And we're not going to make the Death Army ever, for the simple fact of it's about Gundam spec, original Gundam spec. It does have a large weapon area that it can use. But it's just, it kind of sucks otherwise. Because it only starts with 1 energy. So it would need energy legs just to start with the standard 2. But of course, its own legs suck. So... But yeah, the Dryzen is obviously not in the same league as the Arjarja. The Arjarja is, obviously, it's slow as shit because of its shoulders. But those are also providing 50 melee and 20 of its 55 ranged. So it will need a booster of some kind. I honestly don't know what type of booster I'm going to throw on there. For now, I'm going to just throw the Zeta booster on there. Because that's more than sufficient. But I mean, even without the various upgrades, these things are demonstrably at the top of our power charts. Yeah, the Dryzen kind of sucks in comparison, but I mean, it also does not have shoulders that are helping its attack any. They're good. They're just not, you know, spikes of some kind. And this would be good if we wanted the our charger to go a lot faster. I suspect we will be keeping these most likely on the Shining Gundam. We might move them over to the Sandrock, though. Actually, let's... so we can actually do a fair comparison here. Each one have... yeah, the Shining Gundam is a little bit ahead of the Sandrock as far as melee goes. It's obviously way behind when it comes to range and health, because the Sandrock is barely upgraded. Yeah, it can gain, what, probably 300 more health. So I think the Sandrock is still going to be the better suit to actually keep it on as the backup. Though I might move Tremmy over to the Dryzen. Because I think it has a little bit more base armor. Let's just take the... and of course, its arms are just flat out worse than the Sandrock's. So don't have to worry about that comparison. It has the worst arms of the bunch here. And even with relatively minimal upgrades as far as durability goes, all of these, a lot of these are still some of our better suits. The full armor Gundam. Okay, so we should swap out the Marasai. I'm actually looking at my list of stuff for where the Marasai is. Sorry about that. It is back where the... about where the full armor Gundam was. Okay. Can we swap party... damn it. I think this is the real reason why you always end up using Marie's place. Because otherwise it is a pain in the ass to swap. And I'm not too concerned about going over my normal time today. Oh, we haven't had the chance to talk to Resner. I really wish we had options there. We might be able to convince Resner to give Marie the worst gift possible. So, short term, let's he's probably staying in the Bawu. It will still be our second best suit. It'll either be him or Fritz in the Bawu, so. It's not a huge deal. I don't particularly care for the music here, but now, of course, with those, I mean, really, yeah, I think Tremmy's gonna get the actual Horizon. And I think because it's a bit more survivable, Resner will get the Sandrock. It's only a little bit behind the Sandrock when it comes to damage, and those are our melee suits. Feels so weird to be giving Vargas the Zeta Gundam. And I think of the suits we have left, we can safely sell the Full Armor Gundam and the Hyaku, or the Marasai and the Kempfer. I want to keep the others. I'm pretty sure the next member we get is actually comes with a suit good enough that the suits we're keeping aren't going to matter. Yeah, so this is a good comparison. Obviously the Marasai is not fully upgraded, but it is a melee focused suit. And I believe it is worse in every way? Close enough to every way, than when compared to the Gundam Mark II. And we're really just keeping the Full Armor Gundam around because it has the... Well, we're not keeping the Full Armor Gundam around. If we were going to, it would be because it has the 3 energy. Actually, with that Zeta booster, the appearance of this has kind of grown on me. Still changing the color. That looks dumb as hell. Okay, so we're not changing the color. let's get... Actually, let's get our melee suits set up as far as shoulder armor goes. Pretty sure nothing is as good as the Shining Gundam stuff. And I want to have the Shining Gundam set up even though I'm not actually going to be using it. Oh, I guess we never unequipped the... Bowu, which makes sense. Now, the Dryzen looks dumb as hell, which is perfect, because it looks dumb as hell regardless. Now, given that... I was thinking this was Vargas, but it's Resner. Vargas is getting the Zeta Gundam because he is the most ranged-focused character we have outside of Fritz and Bazuli. I think the Marasai spikes are the strongest ones we have left. Yeah, although I think the Camphor spikes are a little bit better because of the... Huh? Yeah, I think so. Because of that armor bonus. Huh. Marasai legs also provide a small melee boost. Yeah, since the Shining Gundam arm is actually available, I'll put that back on. Yeah, so I think that those are set up reasonably well. I can't equip two wings at the same time. I was thinking... Oh, there we go. Power device. That might be best actually on the... I'll just put it on Resner's. And this is a good example of just why it takes forever to get suits set up sometimes. And that is actually perfectly fine. Because we have been dicking around with this for a while now. Oh, and the ZZ Gundam legs are just like the Bawu legs, but better. And I'm going to be inconsistent as hell about calling it double Zeta versus. Anything else? Actually, we could get, I think we can get Tremmy set up for a 7 energy now. Oh no, we don't have enough energy capacitors. Or internal propellants. Now we could leave, well, Now she would need 7. Everybody else can get away with less. And shoot all can be done with a 3 energy gun, of which we have a few. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull it off the Bawoo. And can you do 2 energy capacitors? I think it would probably be better to not bother. And it's a good thing this is going to Tremmy, who has a lot of speed. Yeah, even upgrading its speed a bit, that's still a slow as hell mech. So the Zeta with Vargas. Actually, given that, this is annoying because I want to be able to do counter sniping more frequently. Now, front charge is better than charge plus, because charge plus is just a +1 from charge, and front charge is just a +1 flat out when you're in the front. I think yeah, we'll probably just use Resner as a keeper in the back and then pull her out every once in a while for a big charge attack, big boost attack. And that puts those two a bit closer. And Tristan's not actually going to be a frontliner. Which, you know, makes me think maybe Tremmy should have the Arjarja, but... And now to get things actually equipped. Oh no. Those handguns in its arms are actually pretty decent. They're going to be covered up, but they're pretty decent. Whoa, that's also a pretty powerful weapon, just inherent. And I think I want the Zeta Gundam rifle in the same thing that has the large beam cannon, just because that way we're not how to put it. We're having the thing that wants to get back to 7 more readily. Have the capability to do so. Also, I'm gonna run out of things to attach to the knuckles. I had one less than I thought I did. Well, that's fine. The Shining Gundam is not actually in the party. And what is our second best weapon? Given the versatility this provides, I'm going to stick with the sword. Oh, and we can actually stick a rod-type beam rifle on the Sandrock, and it is just barely worse than the integrated Vulcan. Oh, we could actually stick one on the Horizon as well, for any situations where it needs. Yeah, they suck, but they, you know, do have a purpose. I feel like there should be a way to get another one on this, but I don't think that's the case. Most of the space that we have access to is more vertical than horizontal. And even this Knuckle Guard Kai is better than the rod-type beam rifle, so... If we had more of those Shining Guards, it'd be one thing. I wouldn't even be concerned about it because one of them in replacing the Knuckle Guard is the actually same as the beam rifle. And we want to get some arm weapons. on this. And we want to get another gun. Preferably something strong, like that beam launcher. Yeah, we can fit that. And I think that's full. We will need to check out and see if there is an actual limit. In which case we will need to remove one of the double beam guns. And that's one of the nice parts about the Bowoo is it's not as necessary to get those all replaced. Yeah, it'd be nice to have. I think that's what we're going to stick with. If it needs more armor or whatever, it can get it, but actually, sniper rifle 2 would probably be better on the Zeta Gundam. And does Vargas have Gatling fire? He does. So getting stuff on his is important. And I believe we can actually get a actual weapon there. So it's a step behind everything, but that's fine. Okay, I think that's what we're going to want. And I believe we can heal here. And then go over to the Neo Zarth base. I may be incorrect about being able to heal here. Whatever. We do want to get into a fight real quick anyway. Man, that thing looks dumb as hell. Perfect. Because I want to make sure that the Double Zeta has access to its internal weapon. Yeah, okay, so this thing should be able to beat the hell out of everything with its Gatling fire. And so the first order of business related to that, 3 experience, is going to be heading over to Mount Trial. I believe we should now be strong enough as I yawn for 30 seconds, I believe we should now be strong enough to take that on. Because we were probably strong enough to take that on before, and now we have much, much stronger base party. That's not to say we can be careless now. Far from it, in fact. We likely need to be just as careful as we were before. As well as we needed to be before. We just have a safety margin now. Also, I think we might be able to beat out some of the various things that were faster than us before. So I don't think too many of those show up very frequently in Mount Trial. We are going to drop a save, just because it's been a bit. Now, one potential issue is that we do not have system hack anymore. We don't have ready or easy access to any of the abilities that were a part of system hack even. I say as I clip the mic, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I'd apparently said something both louder and a lot closer to the mic. I changed the way that I was sitting because my lower back was hurting. Likely owing to the fact that I haven't stood up in, almost 3 hours now. And we killed the Zokkais. This is a pair of Zamokais, I believe, much like the Zoks. These are offset in what they do. I was gonna say that could suck, but Then we got that lucky bit of heat on this one. I'm pretty sure these enemies don't have that much health. Such that, yeah, Bazuli killed that one. And Fritz might get pretty close with this one. Now, I'm going to try a counter snipe. Oh, never mind. Don't actually have that. I was going to try a counter snipe. Yeah, that does a bit of damage. Fuck, that Zeta Gundam double Zeta is powerful. And that built-in cannon probably will make it more powerful than the heavy arms would be. The heavy arms would have a little bit more oomph on all of the guns, but I'm pretty sure that even if it does have a built-in, it's not going to be anywhere near the level of a 300 some odd power cannon. So there's two more. There is... I could not remember what those were, just looking at them. So just having everyone charge again. These might not be offset, given that both of them are doing the same thing right out the gate. Yeah, that is a bit more terrifying. But we can probably take out one of them. Yeah, I think it's either 3 grand or so. That, yeah. I'm operating under the assumption that the Apsalis has 10,000 health. Because it seems like a lot of stuff has 10,000 or right around 10,000. That is actually fine. And so we can just have everybody charge. Yeah, I think that's probably our best option. And we'll get to see how powerful Giga Crush is. 3K. So the Apsalis is dead. We just, you know, get to see how much we overkilled it by. His Gatling body's not that far behind his Gatling fire. Interesting. And that's the top tier hit everybody technique. Although I seem to recall it's a bit expensive. So I just never really ended up using it. Especially since we're kind of getting to the point where the techniques have started to fall off in comparison to just charging up for our big ol' attacks. And Bomber was never... Well, I shouldn't say was never. Bomber mostly feels like it's a step behind Grenade. So that we have our actual intended party for the next thing out. I don't know what the next enemy will be. What was after the Apsalis? You know, I can't remember. Oh, Big Zam. I don't remember what all the Big Zam was immune to. This might not go as smoothly. But it's like a truck. And they're really fast. I'm thinking here. I suspect we are going to want to defend these. Also, I don't know if we have beam field still. This could be bad. Oh, it's not Bazuli that got shocked. So. Unlikely to be super bad. I'm gonna give Gatling Fire a try, but I don't think it will actually work. Yeah. Okay. Now, did I remember to save after the Apsalis? That's a good question. Yeah, it looks like it. The shaft field works well against things that are not beams, but I don't think we have beam field. Yeah, that sucks. That's gonna make it more difficult. Yeah, I think the plan is going to be to have Tremy charging Tristan. And mostly have Fritz healing. Yeah, I don't think that that would land anyway, so while it would be useful, at least everybody has a speed boost. I think this is going to be another earthquake. I think that's how this one opens. And I think if I get Resner in here, we can, she can, possibly, get this one killed. I may be probably not misremembering how much damage she can do. Now this is probably the beam field. shouldn't say the beam field. What we would have wanted the beam field for. Yeah. Yeah, that's safe to say that we would have wanted the beam field for that. And is hurt Crummy slower than... Nope. This might be a bit more dangerous. I don't know. A bit. And he might just get knocked back down again, of course. Yeah, without the crit and with her being hurt now, that really took a big chunk of damage off that. Oh, that's not that big a deal. And this might end it anyway. Nope. We're getting there, but slow road to hoe. I don't think it'll work, but he's run out of other things to do. And this turn will probably kill the Big Zam anyway. Yeah, guarded. So that went not completely awfully. And that gives us data for a suit we're probably not going to be using immediately. That's fine, though. Actually gonna be... No, we can't save there. Or if we can, I'm not remembering it. I'm instead going to head up to the G system. Go inside, make the heavy arms, just so that I am actually showing it off. And once we finish that, I will escape, walk back in, and save. And that will be it. And so in a couple minutes, we will be switching over to hosting Loon. Ooh, I just dropped his one of his emotes in the chat. One of the reasons for doing so is to kind of see if I can beat it off screen. I doubt I will be able to just because of the encounters. Yeah, I think a single encounter makes it so I can't beat it off screen anymore. Or at least not with the fade out set to 60 seconds. Yeah, with how that pretty much lined up with a single battle. I'm not real sure I'd have had the chance to beat that out anyway. May have gone off screen basically as soon as we got here. And of course this is heavy arms. It is what am I trying to say? It's not the orange version, the regular ass heavy arms. It is the Endless Waltz heavy arms. Heavy arms custom, I think. No, I don't think that's right either. It might be. I don't fucking remember. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Endless Waltz. Anyway, that is going to be it for me. using the keyboard shortcuts this time, so I stopped fucking up. Thank you for watching, and we are going to be hosting Loon. He went live. I saw him go live. Why aren't you... Interesting. You know something? I'll just let AutoHost do it.